The 8-week-long tour of the Olympic flame on its final day at Teddington Lock on the River Thames after a journey that began back in Greece in May. Watched by the world, the torch is carried by the Queen's barge Gloriana, a now familiar star on the river. She led the Diamond Jubilee River pageant in June, watched by billions around the world. As she leaves the lock, she passes into the care of the Port of London Authority. It oversees safety on the tidal Thames and will control traffic on the river for this pilgrimage that, at its conclusion later today, will mark the start of the London 2012 Olympics. Leading the procession, a Port of London Authority launches.
It is quite unique. I think the biggest thing is making sure we've got the resources available, up and running, and everybody's where they need to be at the right time, because it's not just the resources here today, there's further resources in central London and making sure the area is clear and safe for the event to arrive.
Rowers from clubs up and down the Thames escort Gloriana downriver. Spectators line the route, some to witness the occasion, others to lend their support to Team GB. Where low bridges dictate, the torch flame is transferred to the hands of one of the hundreds of bearers who've carried it across the British Isles. All this under the watchful eye of the shepherding PLA boats, there to clear the way when the flame's route is slowed. As she glides into central London, her star appeal draws a spectacle reminiscent of the royal pageant 7 weeks before. Also joining the procession, the Port of London Authority's own rowing boat, Penelope, chosen as an escort for the day. The tidal Thames, over which the Port of London Authority has charge, is not only Britain's second largest port, it's also one of the most recognisable river routes in the world. Events like this confirm the Thames' place as an iconic and vital asset for London.
To do this on the river, after the torch has gone all around the country and all over the British Isles, this is a very important part, I think, and so the Mayor and the Port of London Authority, they've all been absolutely key to it, but I know it was one of the Mayor's great ambitions that this should be a final stage of it, which it does exemplify, as I've said, how important the river is to London. And you know, here we are, the greatest city in the world, the greatest show on earth, the greatest show on earth about to launch, and of course we're doing it on the river.
Gloriana is safely escorted through central London by the Port of London Authority launches. They stand aside as she rows under the bridge that marks the world's gateway to the Olympic Games. Another job successfully completed by the Port of London Authority.
The torch has arrived, so that's really positive. Great atmosphere on the river, people all over the place, so large crowds. So yeah, navigationally safe, no major incidents, so all good from our point of view. Very happy to see it here.
For those taking part, this was a very special day.
It's really exciting. There's so many boats out. I know it was a lot smaller than the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, but to have all those boats out there and everybody rowing down with Gloriana and everyone cheering, it was just really nice to see everyone out.
She rowed through, which was very spectacular, and then we picked up our station and just rowed in company and waved to all the people who were having a really jolly time. It was great.
With less than 2 months breathing space since overseeing the largest river pageant in the Thames history, the Port of London Authority has worked flat out in the run-up to the Olympic Games. Over and above its duties to ensure the river and port is run safely, the PLA has been operating gatekeeper patrols up and down river for recreational boats to minimise congestion in central London. Its pilots have guided in 19 Olympic-bound ships, some under challenging circumstances. And for those visitors tying up on the river in central London, the PLA has laid huge moorings for the occasion. 2012 will be long remembered in London as a year of pageantry and celebration. For the Port of London Authority, it will go down as a year where a supreme effort by the men and women of the PLA ensured the Thames has both safely and successfully starred on the world stage, with the UK's second largest port quietly doing its job, keeping everyone supplied with life's essentials.